Welcome to Cherie's weight loss journey. Oh my God, the land of Neptune. Well, let's not just say the land, because we know Neptune has to do with being underwater. Under the water, right? In the deep blue sea, okay? Where there's sharks, octopus, fishes, and sea urchins. Okay? One of the things that I wanted to talk about today was a video. This is a video about a man who had a plan to have several plans in motion all at once, all within different cities and counties and states. Now, there's a reason why I say all of that. I say all of that because, different governments, jurisdictions are involved, and right, and there's an imaginary boundary when it comes to operating in different jurisdictions. So we see that when we're watching, like, say for instance, we watch a police chase, right? When we watch a police chase, they're like, okay, we got LA County, they're following this suspect, then this person goes into another jurisdiction, right? And maybe the city police, they're trying to intervene the suspect, and then they get on the highway. Now they have the highway patrol, which I believe is federal or state. No, highway patrol. I think highway patrol might be either state or federal or both, right? And so you have these people that will study the jurisdictions of police and government officials. And so when they do this on purpose, with purpose. Okay? Yeah. So, say for instance, I have to bring this story up because right now, right, free love has been weaponized. Right? Say, somebody comes at you and they're saying, they're down on their luck, and they're like, I just need a place to stay. I have revenue, right? I might be on SSI or, plus, I work odd jobs. Ah, damn it. I messed up. And so anyway, you're thinking to yourself that, this person is just down on their luck. They have a lot of potential. What is it that they want from you? Right? And they may say, I just need a place, that I can come to. Normally, I stay with, my friends or my family, but every now and then, I need a place to stay. Well, a lot of innocent-minded people won't think of this as a person that has verbally and maybe even financially, right, is setting up a contract to use your facility as a base. You say base? Yes, I said base. This is where, you can be used as a hideout where nobody knows that, he's staying there except the community alone. And of course, I know you're like, well, what do you mean? What's wrong with having a base? Especially if, they're on SSI, may have suffered an eviction, has a felony record, why can't they have, someplace, that they can go, even though they may say, they're usually at their girlfriend house or their boyfriend house. Right? Okay. So, here's the thing though. You might just be plan A. There may be a plan A, B, C, D, E, F, all the way through Z. But you don't know that because you don't operate this way. Okay? And you're trying to figure out, oh, this is somebody down on their luck, and how can you help them? And they're like, you can help me by, giving me a place to stay. I won't be here that often, and I can only give you a couple of $100, a month, because that's really all I can afford. But think about this. If this is a cooker, and who I call the cooker, this is the person that knows how to manufacture or cut drugs. Okay? And a lot of times, in the background that's playing when drugs are involved is, of course, fleshly desires. Right? Whether videotaped or not. All right? So, these, let's just call them homosexuals. These homosexuals are, using people to the 30. I've been going in a fucking... Ooh, wee. Okay. I just went into a huge multi-loop trying to... because of all this construction that's going on the highway. I usually don't even take the highway, but I'm running a little late today. So I decided, well, we're going to take this highway and just take our time and get there. So anyway, because I missed my turn. And the reason why I missed my turn was because somebody had came up behind me. And, they always change, the intersections and the routing, when these roads are under construction. And I haven't been on the highway in a minute. Therefore, I wasn't aware that it had actually changed to go westbound on 30. So let me try it again. But getting back to what I was talking about was, if they have 5 different bases, right? And all of them are places that he, and most of the time it's a he, have access to, because women, we're just not that conniving. We can be, but we're like, nah, it's not worth it, right? It's not worth it to be conniving this way. Because, of course, in order for you to have 5 different bases, you have to have a reason to have 5 different bases, right? Why do you need 5 different bases? Well, forts, or whatever you want to call them. And it's not even in their name. Okay? So they're like undercover hiding places, right? That was agreed upon under the concept that, they're just a person down on their luck, right? Whether, like I said, whether it's because, they suffered unemployment, whether it's because they're on SSI, whether it's because they have a felony, whether it's because, you name it, right? I mean, even serial killers, will play on the vulnerability of the innocent, right? Like that guy, who pretended like he had a broken arm, and that was the way that, he was able to get close enough to women to help him. And then, of course, he abducted them and killed them. But let's go back to what I was talking about. So you have these people who will have these different forts, right? And of course, maybe when they initially come in, they come in, and all they're doing when they come in is they're clocking you. They're watching your schedule. Why? Because you're the stable one. You're easy to clock, right? You're stable. They know that you're on a schedule, right? All they need really is about 2 weeks to even know that, to know your schedule. Really, that's all they really need is 2 weeks. They know what you're doing from Sunday to Saturday. and they know what you're doing. And what they don't know, they might even ask you, hey, I was looking for you on Thursday night, And of course, you might just naively give them the information. Oh, yes, I have a class on Thursday night that I go to. And they're like, okay, so Thursday night they're gone. We don't know why they want to know your schedule. You don't know why they want to know your schedule. They said they were looking for you. Do you ever find out why they're looking for you before you reveal to them where you were? Probably not. But you might ask them if you're the inquisitive type. They might just say, oh, it doesn't matter now because, or they might just, if they're a habitual liar, and they can keep their lies straight, then yeah. But you have to understand that they may have played this and may have it going on concurrently with plan B, C, D, E, okay? And I know you're like, okay, but you're saying that this is a person that's down on their luck. How can they afford to have, these various baselines, fortresses, hideouts, because they're doing illicit business practices, okay? And ideally, if they find, say a resident that's near school districts would be optimal, right? Because all they need is just a few boys that they can manipulate into doing drugs and then selling drugs. And also, soliciting young girls away from their regular routine, right? And of course, these young girls will end up having a story to tell about being, the girl that was in the wrong place at the wrong time, right? And once they get these little boys, involved, that, hey, if I tell your parents that, you've been doing drugs and having sex, and a party and this, that, and the third, what do you think your parents are going to say? Well, of course, these children, they don't want their parents to know. So you could kind of say it's blackmail, but is it really blackmail? I guess so. But we're thinking that blackmail only happens, to people in the political arena, right? But this is on a social arena. You understand what I'm saying? So on the social level, a child is like, oh my gosh, if my parents find out that I've been doing drugs, that I've been doing sex, I've been having sex, I'm also selling drugs, you know. And typically, this would be the woman who's trying to figure out, well, how did you get this money, right? Why would somebody that they don't know are gifting you things? And when you start turning up with stuff, right? I mean, typically, men don't buy objects, right? Because objects, usually can be traced. So what they do is they will buy more drugs, right? And all they have to worry about is, hiding the drugs and hiding the money. Okay, so getting back to my point. So if this is happening at base 1 or hideout number 1, nobody really knows who this person is. He could have used a false name because, hey, I'm down on my luck. I don't have no ID. I have no place to stay. A kind-hearted person would be like, okay, I understand that, right? A smart person, they would be like, you can stay here tonight and I'll take tomorrow off and take you down to go get, to go get your ID recovered. But of course, there's like 1,000,001 excuses of why they can't get their ID. So that's scenario number 1. Scenario number 2 is the homosexual who, in his mind, is a polyamorous. The polyamorous, he's the one that comes in and says, I need a place to stay. I'll help you with your rent. And when they leave, they try to leave with half of what you have. And you are just one person. They may have this going on in 3 or 4 different locations. Yeah. So they'll call you their wifey. Okay, but they also have, 4 other wifeys. And they're not planning to leave until they have half of your assets. So imagine this. They're talking polyamory, right? Unconventional relationships, undefined partnerships. But they're utilizing a conventional partnership of marriage when it comes to the division of assets, when the relationship ends. Okay? And so you're like thinking that this never should have happened, right? And of course, they're like, well, you should have known better, or you should have required, the agreement to be in writing. Otherwise, it's your word against their word. And we've often seen time and time again it can get really vicious when people are, utilizing everything they got, everything they have, right? To win at all costs, using prestige, using defamation of character, using lies and slander, and it can get really bad. It can get really, really bad. A lot of people just don't know how bad it can get, right? Where you end up homeless, and the person that made you homeless, they just moved on to, one of the other homes that they had in their polyamory web. Okay? A lot of people think they can handle this until they can't, right? Because if you lose half of your assets, and half of the income that they have brought in, you either have to quickly find a roommate, and another lover, that can, save you from having bad credit or getting evicted. All right? So, this is kind of like the concept, when in business, right? Say, a business person, they can open up one shop at one location, right? But if that one shop at that one location fails, then, you're bankrupt, right? But if you open up multiple locations, then if one, doesn't go according to plan, then you still have the other ones that will still bring, the currency or the supply that you need. And I was like, okay, why am I supposed to talk about this? Isn't this common? And it was like, no, because the reason why it's not as common as it was before is because, as our economy is suffering, and the only concrete asset that most people see as sustainable is real estate. And I'm like, okay, right? At one time, people would have thought, commercial real estate is like the best. True, but, not today. Because a lot of commercial real estate, number one, it's not permanent. Most commercial real estates are based off of leases, short-term and long-term. Whereas real estate property of residence, that has become the area in which people are now targeting, having to do with the land grab. And I know y'all are like, you know, but if you'll study some of the Western videos on the land grabs, I mean the Western movies of yesteryear, you know, and see those land grabs that they used to have, you know, you'll kind of get an understanding of what I'm talking about. And some of them will even, you know, show how, you know, people got displaced off of the land that they had placed claims on. And so, yeah, this was one of the things that, you know, I was encouraged to talk about today, because people need to know different vantage points that, you know, they may not be able to think of, especially if they're people that, you know, kind of think, well, it's either this or it's either that, right? Well, they got people out here that, you know, they think from multiple vantage points, not just either or. And I know a lot of people don't want to do it that way. You know, it's not an easy thing to do. Because you have to have this cluster, that cluster, you know, another cluster, as many clusters of brainstorming for each process. Do you understand what I'm saying? And then, you know, the bottom line is yes, we want to be nice people. And yes, you know, you want to be a nice person. But a person falsely requesting help can actually make you a participant in illegal activity, right? It just depends on, you know, who they're going to believe, you or them. So, anyway, I'm saying this because I really wish the best for people, you know, that they don't get taken advantage of, that they are able to pursue, you know, their legitimate desires, you know, and to help them identify people who are out here pursuing illegitimate desires. And there's a lot of them. There's a lot of them. And they don't feel bad, you know, on the methods that they use to get there, to get wherever it is they wanted to go. Right? Because the majority of them, they think that if they see and know somebody that has this or that or that or this, right, that they should be entitled to have the same thing, right? Even though they may not want to go about getting it the same way that you got yours, right? Or they may feel like they were disadvantaged because, their father didn't leave them an inheritance. It could go on and on and on, as far as when it comes to the reasoning of these people. Okay? So, for whatever reason, I had to talk about the ugly. I usually don't like to talk about the ugly. I usually like to stay within, the good and the bad. But sometimes you do have to talk about the ugly. Because some people, they don't know how to handle the ugly. But I could talk about the ugly without making you throw up. Anyway, thank you for watching. And I'll talk to you later. Bye.